I will now give some examples of AI technologies that are available today. It should be mentioned that I am recording this lecture in March of 2023. As these technologies are evolving rapidly, I therefore imagine that many of the things that I'm saying in this video will be outdated by the end of the year. Initially, it should be pointed out that we are probably using AI without thinking about it already. When you listen to music in your app, for example, Spotify, you get recommendations. Those recommendations doesn't come from a real person putting together a list of music that you would like. Instead, it's generated by an algorithm or an AI that has made a judgment about what music you might like based on the past preferences and the preferences of others who have similar music preferences to you. This applies to all forms of media, of course. Some of you may have a car with some self-driving capability, and quite a few of us use facial recognition to unlock our smartphones. When you see an ad on the internet, it too is targeted at you based on what an AI thinks you would be willing to consume. All of this and more are expressions of AI that we take for granted today. Similarly, we will also take for granted the technologies that are emerging now, whether we claim to like it or not. These above-mentioned AI technologies are quite specific in their functionality. That is, they can do one thing really well, but not anything about that thing. What is new about the latest AI technologies is that it can have more general purposes, or more in a broader sense. If we take Chat GPT as an example, which is then the AI technology that has given rise to these extensive discussions within academia. Chat GPT, it can code, it can write a song lyric, it can plan a family's meals for the week, it can explain complex phenomena in a simple and educational way, it can plan your workday, and as I already mentioned, it can write an essay. Here is an example of how Chat GPT can be used. I had Chat GPT explain what it is. I recorded this search because the program is still in its beta version and it locks up sometimes, but nevertheless, Chat GPT explains that it is an AI-powered chatbot designed to simulate human-like conversations with users. As a language model trained by OpenAI, ChatGPT can understand and respond to a wide range of natural language inputs, allowing users to engage with it as they would with a human interlocutor. ChatGPT can provide information on a variety of topics, answer questions, make recommendations, and even engage in casual chit-chat. Its ability to continuously learn from users' interactions makes it invaluable tool for those seeking an interactive and personalized online experience. So, if I translate this quickly, ChatGPT is an AI program that has learned to write text, and it can write almost any text you want. It does this by giving it an instruction in the field on the input page, whereupon the AI executes what you want. In the following video, I'll show what it looks like when it writes an essay. Here you can see that I wanted to write a presentation on the Swiss chemist Rudolf Otto Gumbrecht, citing his most important works and accomplishments. ChatGPT has no problem writing a text about this chemist and the importance he has had in research. As you realize, it is also quite easy for students to just copy this text and send it to their teachers, which is also the reason why many teachers are worried. But if we look at this from another point of view, the point of view that I tend to take myself, this is also a fantastic way to get knowledge about something quickly. Here I can say that I myself use AI technology in research and in teaching. When I am, for example, writing a research paper, sometimes I need to write a paragraph about something. If you're used to research, you may recognize the same problem, that you need to write about something that you know you have read about and you know by heart, but you can't find that reference that you need. AI can help you find that reference. Here it's worth pointing out that ChatGPT cannot make references that refer to real works. It can only create text from the text it has access to, and it does not have access to in the internet. Asking it, for instance, to refer to contemporary events is therefore not possible. I won't dwell on this for long, but here we see one thing that needs to be pointed out to students and that makes critical thinking important. Just because an AI can write a text doesn't mean that that you don't have to examine that text and the sources given, if they are given at all. But more on that later. Nevertheless, it is also a great planning tool when developing lessons. Here you can see that I've asked it to design a workshop that lets the participants learn the possibilities and challenges with AI and educating for critical thinking. I also asked it to plan for a 25-minute discussion in smaller groups. The workshop should also not last any longer than 1 hour and 30 minutes. Note that I have been careful to give the AI clear instructions. This is called prompting. That is the ability to write instructions or prompts to an AI to make it do what you want. Prompting is also an important skill to learn in the future, and I suggest that you go to YouTube and watch some videos on how to do it, or read some instructions on the internet. Anyway, in the video, you can see how it gives me a suggestion for a workshop. I can ask it to do the same thing several times, perhaps by modifying the prompts until I get a suggestion that more closely matches what I'm looking for. I don't necessarily have to follow the suggestion, but by reading what it suggests, I can get some tips and ideas for how to plan the workshop, and which I then can incorporate into my planning. It thus becomes a kind of conversation partner with whom I can plan my teaching. And one last thing I personally use AI for is to translate my texts. My English is okay, but it's not my native language. That's why I use two services, DeepL and Grammarly, when I translate my own text. First, I put my text into DeepL. This service can be described as a translation tool similar to Google Translate, but much more accurate and gives me a better results. Then I put that text into Grammarly, which checks my grammar. It doesn't just find grammatical errors, it also improves my language so that it meets the standards expected in, for example, academic journals. So here are a few examples and the links to these examples of AI technologies that I've been trying out. These are just a few examples, and I'm testing other tools as well. For us to understand this technology, I think we need to start using it too. So I recommend that you take the time to go to the different sites that have this technology and try it out. That's the only way we learn. In the next videos, I will be addressing the possibilities and risks when dealing with AI and critical thinking. See you in the next video.